Hello, I'm Alan. Thank you for joining me on in my tea session today. I'm drinking a 2007 Sheng or raw Pu-erh. I'll throw up a bunch of photos of the cake and stuff before I broke it down into kind of some pieces here. This is from CNNP, or that's the factory. So CNNP, their 8891 recipe, and I purchased it from Yunnan sourcing. Year again is 2007. So this is kind of a twofold tea why I got it. One, the little tea group I've created here. This is what we're going to be drinking this week, and since as we make our way through the six main classes or categories of tea, we're now on to the Heichas. So that's what we're drinking this week. And the second reason is I'll be adding this to my birthday tea. So I kind of figured I'd get some from the year I was born and then maybe every decade. So 87, 97, 2007. So this is the 2007 one. All right, anyway, the location of this was Nanjian in Dali, Yunnan, is where this was grown, and it's the Assamica, is what they say is the cultivar. The aroma of the dry leaf, I'm excited to see kind of what it'll be like as we brew the what aromas and things will come out. But so this is a raw Pu'erh. The aroma of the dry leaf, because I've had a young raw, I can pick up like the dried cherry notes, the tartness, but I can tell it's more mature. So it's got that stone cherry fruit, like the fruit smell, but it's now starting to mature into what I would almost say is like tobacco notes. Some tobacco fruitiness, but that's just the dry leaf. Let's see what adding some heat's gonna do. So I'm gonna do a rinse. I've got a nice little chunk here that I've got a few little pieces. And what I'm doing is, so the reason it's in the glass teapot instead of like a guy one is because that's basically what I'll be serving it in my group with. So I'm just kind of doing a practice session with this. I've got, Yunnan sourcing didn't provide any recommended like brewing parameters for this. So I'm just going to do like a generic 6 grams per 100 mil. So I've got a total of 12 grams of leaf in here, and I'm going to do it as hot as my elevation will allow me. So I've got this at 96 degrees. So without any further ado, let's kind of get this session going. So we're going to do a rinse. Maybe about 10 or 15 seconds or so, just to kind of wake it up a little bit. Swirl it around, rinse it, and dump it. All right, so let's see what the wet. Ooh, interesting. A lot more wood. A little bit of. For a bit there was like a mushroomy note, so maybe some light wood, earthy, but just kind of hints. It's not in your face as far as like just smelling like dirt. Ooh, as it's cooling down, definite more tartness in the aroma. Ooh, that's interesting. Now as it cools down further, the tartness is still evolving. Holy crap. Now it's definitely more tobacco-y that I'm picking up, like a cigar. Like if you smelled a unsmoked, just a cigar. But then there's also that tartness. Very cool. All right. This is exciting. So what I'm going to do, I'm just kind of playing it by ear because they didn't do any brewing parameters. I'm going to do 15 seconds for this first steep or two, and we'll kind of see how I change it or how I go, but let's do 15 seconds. Fill it up to the 200. There's air bubbles coming out, I guess, as the water's trying to get into all the cracks. I'm gonna let it go longer. The liquor's pretty clear. Try maybe this first steep. I'll do 45 seconds. It was a pretty compact piece. And I'm realizing I'm gonna need a bigger mason jar. Okay, so this is 45 seconds. Very light in the color. I think I'm definitely a noob into all tea kind of in general, but especially like these Pu-erhs. How and Heichas, like, how do you treat it when it's just this compact thing? How long do you let it go? I mean, that's 45 seconds, and it, to be blunt, looks pale. So this first taste is not probably going to be justice for what the tea has to offer, and it's just going to be a representation of how my inexperience. Cool it down a little bit since this is basically boiling. And we'll kind of see what flavor notes come out. All right, cheers. It's light. But there is flavor. I'm getting some sweetness. It's hard for me to tell if it's like a sugar sweetness or if it's like a watery sweetness, where kind of just the fact that it's watery and light makes your tongue think it's sweet. But at least for the first 45-second steep, there's some sweetness in there. I'm getting some of the fruity, like dried fruit. I want to say cherries. What I'm not getting is it's not too, what I would say, earthy, not too much dirt. It's very much in the fruity, sweety realm of flavors. I'm excited for that. All right, let's try the second steep. We'll kind of see what the liquor does. We'll maybe do another 45 seconds. I'll try to pour directly onto it and see if I can kind of break it up a little bit. It's kind of interesting to watch it expand as it's starting to loosen up and absorb the water and kind of wake back up. That's 30 seconds. Let's do another 15. Just in case. Okay. That's at 45. Kind of cool this down. Like, part of me wants to break this up, kind of split it apart a bit. The aroma has more of the tobacco notes, like a maturity in the aroma. Let me keep this warm, put cloth over it. Keep that on. So what I can tell, even though it was lighter, partly because it's still waking up, I can already sensing that it's going to be on the lighter of the color spectrum, because it's not a choux pu'erh. It's not cooked. It is or piled up and composted. It is just the leaf. As it when it was pressed, it wasn't aged further beyond that. But anyway, cheers. All right, I would definitely say it's a sugar sweetness, especially after I've swallowed what the liquid that's lingering on my teeth, and then I'm trying to place, maybe it's the top of, like, the roof of my mouth, maybe it's the tongue, but there's definitely a sugary aspect to this. Very nice, like it's just hinting towards mushrooms and earth and tobacco. Like, it's just kind of hinting towards the wood. It's definitely not an in-your-face with those notes. It's mellower, more approachable. It's very sweet, actually, as I'm drinking more of that one. Very sweet. Okay, let's try the third steep. I'm going to do it 45 seconds again. And we'll just kind of see. Try to break it up. Put the water down into it. This cake, as far as price-wise, is actually the most affordable tea I have bought. It is 13 cents a gram. So, what is that? $3.69 an ounce. So this session is $1.56. Way more affordable than some of the other crazy expensive stuff I've been buying. So definitely more affordable at the 13 cents. Okay, 45 seconds. Try to cool that down. Trying to shake it and break it a little bit. I don't want to just be drinking the surface, or the leaves that are just on the surface. Just kind of a pencil, maybe pencil shaving note, so maybe there's some paperiness. But I would definitely say tobacco. Yeah, tobacco notes on that one. Let's keep this hot. Now it's steep 3. Color now is very nice amber. Amber yellow. So it's on the yellower orange end of the spectrum beyond compared to like being on the redder browner ends. Very transparent. It's not so it's a nice clean transparent liquor. All right, let's see what steep 3 brings. Cheers. Still good fruit. Some of the tobacco note. Sweetness. There is almost like a mintiness. I'm trying to see the feeling when it cools down. When I inhale, if it's a cooling. a little bit of woodiness in this, but like lighter woods, not what I would say is wet bogwood. It's more like a dry, like almost if I was to lick this drip table, the gum food tray. So just kind of a light wood. All right, very light, and I think part of the lightness. Maybe I'm gonna be crazy if this is not something you're supposed to do with Puerh. I'm gonna break this up a bit. Take some of the outer leaves. So this was a chunk that was kind of close to the, I guess what's called the bing hole. Okay, I'm gonna split that in half. There we go. Help get some water down into the middle. There. So it's not the bing hole, but it's very, very close to it. So it's kind of a more compact. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so as I broke it apart, like there's an actual stick. So some of the stem. Cool. All right. I will do a fourth session here with you. I'm not getting any more unique flavors, so let's see what this fourth session brings out, and then I'll just keep steeping this offline. Let's see how many steeps I get, but let's see what the fourth one does. I'll do 45 seconds. All right, there we go. I can already see more color. It's kind of cloudy too, but that's because I broke it into pieces. All right, so 30 seconds. So this is good for me to know as a practice session, because as I'm serving it to my friends who will be here this week on Saturday, kind of what to expect. Maybe I'll break it up a little bit more instead of just doing one chunk. I'll kind of break that chunk into smaller pieces to help the water get into it. There we go. That color is noticeably darker. More orange. Definite tobacco leaves on the aroma. You can see definitely darker orange. Try to cool that off a little bit. Beautiful color though. Let me hold up the blend. A nice little amber orange color on that. Get this back on here. A little floaty out. All right, steep 4. Cheers. Much more flavor in this one. A little bit more wood. There's still a lot of good fruit flavor coming out. There's a definite cooling sensation. So I don't know if that's what's called camphor. When I've seen some people use camphor in their descriptors, so I'm not sure if that cooling is that. I'm trying to see if there's vanilla. It's kind of in those vanilla tobacco. Not quite cinnamon, and at the same time maybe like a cinnamon stick, but without the burn of a cinnamon. but it's got the cinnamon sweetness. If you've ever had like actual cinnamon, like the stick instead of the powdered cinnamon. All right, interesting. Okay, so I will keep brewing this. So this was 4 sessions. I'll kind of see how, or steeps. I'll brew the rest offline and just kind of see how many I can get. I'd anticipate probably around 15 or so, at least compared to the other, my experience with the 3 or 4 other Heichas that I've ever had. So, all right, with that, I'll pause and we'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. So I just did my 11th steep. I figure just based on my tastes that probably 11 or 12 steeps is about as much as this one can go. So I figured I'd bring it back and we will now drink the encore. Let the blend of all the steeps sing their last song and kind of see what comes out with the blend. So yes, I definitely needed the bigger mason jar. Get that. The color, the definite orange. It's in that orange amber color scheme. Not sure how well you can see because I've got the light this way so I can see through it, but there's no light behind me to help you see. But anyway, cover that back up. All right, so this is 11 steeps worth of blends together. We'll see what it all tastes like. All right, cheers. One of the fun things of doing the blend is how drastically different it can actually be than the last steep I had. So towards steeps 10 and 11, it was actually bringing out some bitterness. Like I want to say around 9 and 10, it kind of moved into the mushroom spectrum, and then 10 and 11 was in the bitter spectrum. So now that I'm drinking, so with that on my palate and then switching to the encore, it's noticeably sweeter. So less bitter, a lot more sweet. It's a lot more approachable than if I was to have started with the last steeps. So sweeter, some of those wood notes. There's hints of that mushroom age coming out. The woodiness, the dried fruit, not the tartness of it, but it's got kind of that fruity cherry kind of aspect to it. One of the things that I am noticing for sure is the aftertaste has a long lingering sweetness. So as I lick my teeth and just kind of move my tongue around and kind of pick up the lingering flavor residues, it's a long lingering sweetness, very distinct, that's in there. I am still getting some of the bitterness is kind of sitting right here. So there is some bitterness that's present. There's some coolingness still. As I inhale, I can kind of feel that cooling, minty sensation that I'm starting to experience. What's the word? As throughout the Pu-erhs that I've been having, this cooling sensation seems to be pretty common. Like a common feature of it. But, all right. Anyway, so I guess final thoughts of this session. Nothing offensive. So there's no fishiness. There is bitterness. But it's not to the extent I would say of an English black breakfast tea. So not as harsh as that. So there is bitterness present, but it's not as offensively or in your face as drinking unmilked, well, English breakfast black tea. There's sweetness. I would say nothing that. Overall, I would say that this recipe from CNNP or whatever is kind of a meh, at least for my limited taste palette of 4 or 5 maybe Pu-erhs that I've had. 3, like a few cooked and a few raw. It's just kind of a meh, nothing that's really getting me excited, but there's also nothing that's like, ugh, disgusting. So it's just kind of in the, okay, it's a Pu'erh. It's kind of my final thoughts on as I'm drinking this one and continuing my education and exploration through this fascinating world of tea. So anyway, thank you for joining me in this tea session. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.